and every one of them, there's stories like that about that.
How we got the job.
Do you look for?
Well, my great
Judy?
moment is my audition was in a bear costume. That was
Yeah.
how I was to be seen on Laugh-In. Really, that's exactly what they put me in a bear costume, and I think it was Gordon, the director at
We
the time.
fixed that on the next show.
Yes, you did. And I want to thank you for making me the only token black on the show. And you see, it sort of stuck with me.
Well, and look at this, you're still black today.
Oh, Dick Shay Stalker. I liked it so much, I thought I would stick with it. So I went to Australia to make sure I was still a token black.
Yes, Barbara Feldon, you're so quiet and pensive, and I'd like to know what you're thinking.
Oh, well, I'm just enjoying this so much. I only did 5 of the shows. I think I did the first 5 shows, right? And then I had to go back to Get Smart. They had to make that decision. And just the indelible impression that those 5 shows made on me, because of the personalities involved, will remain with me the rest of my life. I really felt as though the women on the shows were my sisters and the boys were my brothers. And I can remember there would be these long, long sessions doing the party scenes, and we'd be exhausted, and then there'd be a 2-hour break, and then we would go back to the dressing room. We were sharing a dressing room, and we would all just lie on the floor and turn the lights out and go to sleep for 2 hours. But it was a charming, charming experience.
You got money for that.
This dignified lady, came into all of that. Remember the first 5 characters you did?
The first, I remember the first one, the Girl Scout.
One was the Girl Scout with the troop of hookers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did a Girl Scout leader who was camping outside Fort Dix, and with her troop of 28-year-old Girl Scouts, and being interviewed and saying that the cookies were moving real fast. And George read me that script, read me that sketch, and I said, "What is funny here?" I never knew what was funny. I always just looked at him blankly and said, "Well, I'll do it."
And then the Taco Tucker. Yeah, you can do with that whatever you will.
I didn't get that for 2 years.
Yes.
George's brilliance was how to get a joke past the censors. Yeah, I mean, this was really a trick beyond belief, and the games he had to play, right? Now, for instance, I was lucky enough to do the first dope joke, which of course is really a laugh. I wonder why they chose me. Anyway, so what he'd do was like, we were dressed as hippies, and George comes to me and says, "Look, how do these people dress?" And I went, "Okay, the arms, the beads, everything. We had all the gear on, And it was Henry and I. And we just walk on camera, right? And he goes, "Hi." And I go, "You too?" That was it. The next morning, the censors run into rehearsals going, "George, you're not going to get away with this." Well, he was furious. My son told me what that meant at breakfast this morning. And do you know what George said? "I'm worried about your son."
What?
George, you're all having a great time here, and obviously the chemistry is still there. And you all said that if you could turn the clock back, you think you'd like to all do it over again. But what is it about the medium right now that doesn't seem to really be able to accept this type of a show, a variety show or a straight comedy show? Pardon?
Writers aren't the same. They're not good. I don't know.
Variety
I don't mean that.
shows, just don't happen
There are no variety shows
No,
anymore.
right. I
But-
miss him. I miss him a
But
lot.
you people you haven't lost your talent. If nothing else, you've expanded your talent. There should be some room someplace for
Can I answer
Uh,
that one? Mr. Slaughter, can I answer that one? I'll tell you why. So far, they have, I'll tell you why. Really, because so far, they have forgotten what makes successful hit shows, whether it's Laugh-In, All in the Family, innovation, the dareness to be different, the dareness to bring out new things. We have to go back to the farm system and create the new jokesters of tomorrow, the new singers of tomorrow, the new writers of tomorrow. You can't sit on your laurels. We have too many sitcoms of the same problems, which we see all the time. You got to take the boredom out of television and bring back the newness of the new writers up there coming up in this world.
Way to go, Tim. Your father is so proud.
George, Incidentally, if you do bring Laugh-In back, I would be willing to tell Carol to kiss off. So I.
George, did
They
anybody
said-
ever?
Somebody said the word censor, and my daughter's over here going.
George, did anybody ever count up the number of jokes per show? And could you tell us a little bit about the writing process, how that all went, and how they learned their material, that sort of thing?
Well, stay with learn their material for just a second. The writing process was a laborious one, as my friend Mr. Wolf can tell you. It was extensive. The scripts were that thick. We then did the material on stage, then we then improvised, because as you can tell, these people think on their feet. And we also, part of the writing process, and I'd like to just stop for 1 second, we had friends that came by, that supported us then and support us now, that made it fun. And I'd just like for you to say hello to some of them here. One of them is Connie Stevens. She was there whenever we needed. Come on, Connie.
I worked on a lot of George Slaughter shows, and every time I went to this one, it seemed like I was in the middle of a turmoil in my life. I was either running to the side, throwing up, or what have you, and I couldn't wait to go to work because it was the place that I felt, as hard as we were working, that I felt like I was safe, and that whatever I really wanted to do, why I got into this business, it all came very true. And the reason I was throwing up at the time, I brought her along. This is my 24-year-old. This is Trisha Lee. I was pregnant all the time on his show.
Didn't have anything to do with. What a pretty lady. We also have some of the other people who were with us and came in, and one of our favorite guest stars came by the studio and brought his young son, who is now a dirty old man himself, Mr. Buddy Hackett.
All right.
Uh-oh. No, you don't say anything that Judy wouldn't say.
I'm from the nightclubs, and I always worked however I felt like working. And when I went on Laugh-In, I found out that you couldn't say get laid 8 o'clock at night, and now, 25 years later, I can't do it at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And I would do it if I remembered why I liked it. Another thing was, when you went on that show, you just said to George, I have an idea. He says, we'll shoot it, just do it. He didn't even care. You just did it, and he either used it or he didn't use it. And somebody, Digby, got credit for it. It was a great feeling. Everybody was nice. It was great to be a guest. You were treated like family. You walked in, everybody was wonderful. And I wondered what would ever happen to any of these people, and I'm glad to see they're all better and well, and even if they're not in show business.
Another gentleman who came on the show, and they had written a blackout about one of the girls kissing him. And when we did the blackout, all of the girls lined up in front of me and said, whoa, wait, next, okay? Anyhow, the gentleman who received all of that, Jim Garner. And of course, you have met the lovely and talented Tim Conway, who we would write a script and put business to come. You want to say anything else?
Yes, about some of the animals you made me work with.
And, of course, one of the prettiest guest stars we ever had on the show, who was glamorous and gorgeous and sexy and everything, and we ought to say hello to him, too, Tony Curtis. Wait till you see the clips that are on in a little bit. Oh, yeah.